Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave and a happy Friday morning to you. I'm always wishing you the happiest of happy Friday mornings, but you know what? It's cryptocurrency time, so goddamn it, there's no weekend in cryptocurrency land. There's no crying in cryptocurrency. But as you can see, I'm harnessing the power of Bear Jesus behind me. We'll be talking about a few shorter term ideas. I always want to be reminding everyone that this sort of morning update is always focused towards more short term ideas. Yes, we'll cover some medium term trade ideas as well. But if you want more long term trade ideas, well, look for the playlist titled Long-Term Analysis, because that's what it's for. Anyways, getting on over here, we have closed yesterday's daily dump dildo, this nice big fat red dildo over here, right around 6150, this horizontal right here that we've been looking at for the last, well, really couple months, quite honestly. Still no break to be found. However, a big volume on this dump over here. This is exactly what I was looking for. Look at how the volume is poking out on this red dildo over here in comparison to the past prior action over here. This tells me that yes, this breakdown or this breakout out of this lower term formation right here was real. Again, you can see the volume kind of tailing off in that very orderly fashion. Definitely a good sign of consolidation, and that consolidation was resolved to the downside. Now, with that said, just because you resolve that consolidation to the downside does not mean that you automatically get to break this horizontal right here. I mean, you've done this plenty of times before. Now, yes, it is kind of early in this dump's life. It's like a young dump. Hey, young dump, have a fucking lollipop in your life. But, and you can kind of see that by the stochastics over here, which are actually just kind of opening down and got plenty of room to go if they want. But I do want to say that, hey, on your lower time frames right here, it's not necessarily the time to be super aggressive, as you are getting bullish divergence down here on a 4-hour time frame, which is, you know, which does kind of mean a lot, in my opinion. You know, putting in some bullish divergence right here, trying to reach for the trying to reach for the edge of the critical zone over here, which is kind of where I get a little bit more. All right, maybe we do see a little bit of up over here. Stochastics as well on the 4-hour time frame are giving you some divergence and are hinting at a cross up and over as well. So if this were to kind of break out of the current resistance, which is right around here, right around your hourly 21 exponential moving average, and we can actually put a nice, we could actually fit a trend line right around here as well. Pretty much the same thing, you know, and I really like that for good confluence. If you were to break out of this area right here, where would you kind of be aiming your cannons? Going off of the 4-hour, saying, hey, you know, you do have some bullish divergence down there. Where it makes sense? Well, I think the next big area that would make sense is right around here, 6350-ish area. Would not be asking for too much if that were to break out, all the way to about this area right here at about 6400-ish area. So we'd kind of be creating another zone, so to say. And we can, you know, we can put a blue box of peace and prosperity over there, or perhaps death and decay, depending upon your disposition. But if you're bullish, well, that could be what you're looking for if you were to get a confirmation of break out of this lower formation over here. A very young formation indeed as well. So I don't want to, you know, take that lightly, because this one is a new dump table, because it's a baby dump so far. It's kind of, you know, going back to that discussion that we had yesterday of kinetic energy and like building up kinetic energy. When you essentially spend about a month and a half consolidating right here, and for the greater pattern, you know, 10 months over here consolidating within a range that's tightening ever so softly over time, winding up and up and up. It's like creating more and more energy, so to say. It's creating a cause, if you're familiar with Wyckoff terms, which typically leads to a bigger effect, meaning that the breakout or breakdown, yes, it still can break out to the upside. I think it's very, very unlikely at this point in time. I think the best that bulls will really hope for is just basically going sideways for a long time, and then maybe going up after that. However, again, just kind of get back on track over here. We have a lot of built up energy over here, and as this just kind of spills on over very close to the major support, we do kind of have a little bit of a unique situation in comparison to what we saw on the last couple of dumps. The one starting over here, which started all the way at 7,400, the one starting over here, which started all the way at 8,400, and the one started over here at you know, all the way at 10,000 and, you know, 12,000, all that good shit. So going back on over here, you know, you broke this broadening wedge to the downside, as confirmed by the break right here. Yes, you can make a measure move on that, and we can certainly, you know, plot that out right here. Let's kind of just take the width of this guy, and let's see what he spits back at us, as that would be suggesting a move all the way down to about 50, you know, the prior low, essentially, this guy right around here, which would make sense, but again, I want to be very, very clear in stating this. I do not want to get too damn bearish on Bitcoin until we actually officially break 6150 and close like some higher level dildos below it. And when I say higher level dildos, Now, yes, I would make a decision on a 4-hour and 8-hour and probably go into a starter position, or what I call starter position, but really I'm looking for a daily and preferably a weekly. And yes, we will get a new weekly on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I am looking forward to that, as the close of this weekly is going to be very, 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 very important. Back down here into the lower time frames. Now let's pull out a couple more areas. So we got this area right here at about 62.20ish area, and this is kind of the area that we're playing in right here right now. Now, yes, I do have this lower trend line right here. I could make a decision off that if you broke it on the hourly, but again, officially speaking, it's as always, things are a zone. It's not just like a static line. It's more like a zone, right? So it'd be in this zone right here. If you can break above this area right here, I don't see much stopping from about 63.50 to 6,400, and just kind of put another move in. Similar to how we've had these bounces get weaker each and every time. This first bounce over here, $6,000 and $3,000 over here, then $2,000 on this one over here, then $1,000 on this one over here, then $500 on this last one over here. Maybe we have like another $200, $300 bounce, bringing us all the way back to 6,300, 6,400. Possible. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. You are seeing some etchings of it happening with the 4-hour bullish divergence down here, but again, it does feel like there's a lot of pressure, a lot of downwards pressure on price action right now. I do want to point out a few things with the daily as well. The daily is very important right here, as we do have all kinds of bad exponential moving average crosses, but most importantly, the blue 30 simple moving average right here is once again flatlined, and it's likely to start giving you a downslope. But again, if I swap my 200 simple moving average for the 10 simple moving average represented by the red line right here, I've shared a video on this strategy before, but basically when these start to kind of like when you get the red 10 simple moving average crossing the downside or the upside of the yellow 21, well, you typically get a signal for a nice trend trade. Now you can see over here when Bitcoin's been basically consolidating this area right here, as evidenced also by the volume characteristics and also the shape of this formation. You get a lot of false signals. You get a signal right there, signal right there, signal right there, and you've just got another signal right here. But as things do kind of open up and let out and release that kinetic energy, you're likely to see these start to gain momentum. Think of it as like a lower time frame MACD essentially, but a better MACD, because the MACD is for, never mind. So mean, Crown, Jesus Christ. So again, at the end of the day, yeah, it's kind of telling you that, hey, you got some room to go if these do start to get some breathing room between each other, which they actually are. You can see that they're getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter all the way up into this point over here, and now they're kind of getting a little bit looser as we do kind of hurl our way downwards. So again, putting things in, next to each other, yes, you certainly can have a nice little up move over here, but I think it'll just be a little up move, likely to get sold into once again. If we go over here to the 2-day little chart. Let's go back to the daily once again. Actually, the daily RSI in the bearish zone, in the bearish control zone. So bears are in control right now. I mean, you didn't really need me to tell you that, but yeah, a lot of the times you will come back and retest the outer edge of the bearish zone. Certainly not out of the question. My crown trading stochastics over here and my crown trading Fibonacci are telling me that we're actually on a little bit of support right now, or I mean, what should be pretty damn strong support, especially when you're going off of this guy right here, this horizontal right here. But again, one thing before the next, right? And Bitcoin actually is ticking up right here. And I just want to point back over to the daily stochastics over here, which again, they're telling you that you have plenty of energy to go if you want to. You kind of got rejected from kind of opening up bullish right here in the neutral zone, and then boom, down, a little bit of a fake out, which is absolutely fucking classic. Going over here to the 2-day dildo chart, I do want to point out that the 2-day dildo chart has actually officially gone, your stochastics have actually crossed down. Same thing over here, comes into the neutral zone, says nope, we're going down. And that not the best sign right there. 2-day RSI as well in the bearish control zone. So to me, this is a bearish consolidation. I mean, we kind of already knew that. But again, going off over here, always remember the higher time frames. The 2-day dildo chart right here has a death cross, a green 55 crossing the downside of the purple 200. Only one other example of that in Bitcoin's almost 10-year history, right over here in 2014. Which, by the way, look at this. This was a broadening wedge right here. If I put on my drawing tools, we already have it drawn out. That was a broadening wedge right there, wasn't it? Testing the upside of this green 55 exponential moving average before finally breaking down over here. And overall, we have a very similar thing in kind of a lower time frame, actually. Oh, there we go. Hey, and if you're viewing this from a later time, Dunoob B, pleasure to meet you, man. And pleasure to have you in here. That'll be fun to view later. Anyways, you know, that was where you actually broke down to your ultimate capitulation, red dildo death over here. Very, very intense selling after the full-on breakdown. So just wanted to kind of point it out. Also point out that, hey, after you got the cross, it took about a month or a month and a half from the cross happening right over here to the actual breakdown over here. So again, we're actually about a month after having the cross in 2018 right here. Happened on September 10th. So we are quite literally a month and 2 days after it happening. So again, you know, and you're also having your 10 simple moving average starting to gain momentum away from that 21 right there as well. Again, not the best sign. Not the best sign. What about the 3-day crown? What about the 3-day? Well, we're once again testing the 200 exponential down here. I really do not like this. Whenever you come back down to base on a major exponential multiple times, it is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of consolidating on your lows, which in my experience typically leads to new lows. Again, you can see volume on the 3-day dildo already perking up as well, which still has, actually it does end tonight. So we'll kind of have to monitor that one, but we could maybe see this breakdown tonight. If you do close this one below the 200 exponential moving average, it's not necessarily a death sentence just yet. You need to both open and close one below before I start saying, okay, this is fact. Besides, Bitcoin gonna get fucked tonight. Well, perhaps not. I think it actually might rally from here a little bit. Again, I'm still short just for you know, kind of verifying myself. I think it's very important to verify myself, as most people won't do this on all these social media venues, Twitter, TradingView, YouTube. Many people are very guilty of this, and you know, not that anyone's obligated to kind of show their trading activities, but this is my streamer account. You know, make no mistake, this is not my main account. Most of my money is actually out of this market right now, because you know, what's the point of having money in a fucking bear market if I can just trade on margin using a very small amount and still do all right. But I do want to speak specifically to this for a second. I waited about 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks to take this trade. I didn't take one trade between the time of like of basically September, basically fucking September, until last or 2 nights ago. So again, you know, a lot of trading is waiting, man. It's a lot of trading is waiting. Sorry, I shouldn't say man, because I know that there's also females watching as well, and perhaps other gender people who identify with other genders as well. So you know what? You tell me in the comments. You tell me in the comments what you want me to call you, and I'll call you whatever you want. Even if you want to be robotkin or fucking fairykin or unicorn, elfkin, I don't care. I'll call you whatever you want. I don't want to be disrespectful. That's the last thing I want. I want to be respectful, because I'm a nice guy. But wow, I say a lot of dumb shit sometimes. But hey, I actually will call you whatever you want, though. I promise. So yeah, when it comes down to it, you know, I just want to say, hey, good trades, they can take a lot of time to kind of come to. This guy over here, you know, I didn't take this until we saw the rejection on the 2-day dildo chart right here of the yellow 21 exponential moving average. You see this long wick to the upside right here as the pattern got extremely tight with that declining volume. Well, that to me was saying, hey, we're getting rejected. We're likely to see some down. And the next day, it happened quite fast, granted, but I will be holding this. The reason why I will be holding this for a little while is because, again, I see my higher time frame exponentials start to gain momentum. They are sloped downwards. The 3-day over here sloped downwards. The weekly just got the yellow 21 exponential crossed into the downside of the green 55 exponential. Very bad. Very fucking bad. Also, the blue 30 simple moving average is aggressively sloped to the downside. Not good. You have been rejected once again from your 10 simple moving average right here, the red line. And again, we only have one other example of the yellow 21 exponential crossing the downside of the green 55 exponential in Bitcoin's almost 10-year history, right over here in 2014. Oh my God, very similar posturing as well, before sending Bitcoin to its ultimate red dildo death over there. So again, you know, a lot of these things do take a long time to wait for. People are very spoiled because they entered into these spoiled brats. People entered into this market after about 2015 over here, not knowing that Bitcoin, doesn't, can go down. It's capable of going down. This was a fucking bull market. After this area over here, you knew something else was going on. It was a change behavior, as we call it. And a change behavior leads into a reversal, and you're no longer just going straight up. So again, it's just one of those things where, hey, you have to realize when the market's actually changing. It takes some time. But over here, things were happening quite fast. I think a lot of people joined probably even after, October of last year, like quite literally 1 year ago, where things were just flying every day, every fucking day. And that is a unique part of the market phase. I mean, let me bring it over here to the monthly, which is very important to show as well. As the monthly tells all. The monthly tells all. Again, my background coming from being a market maker in equity options on New York Stock Exchange ARCA, I used a lot of the higher time frames to kind of judge, okay, is this name, generally bullish, generally bearish, by looking at the 21 exponential moving average right here. And as you can see, we're dancing along it one more time. Again, this very low volume drift. Your bull market started by no mistake after a major volume increase in a pump up dildo right above here, taking you above, closing above. Good, you're in bull market territory, and then it's just upwards and onwards. But then you get your reversal dildos right here, pair of tweezer top dildos, and look how obvious it is on the monthly. You resolve that to the downside, you consolidate between 6,000 and 12,000 right here, and then resolve that to the downside, and then just like a low volume kind of dribble along this area, which tells me we're consolidating along a major support. And if you do break it to the downside, which it is likely to break to the downside again, and nothing's 100%, but it is likely, as you are kind of lassoed by this 10 simple right here and right here. The blue 30 simple moving average right here does become a magnet for price action. So we will spend this next second to kind of talk about a little bit of lower targets on this guy right here, putting back on the drawing tools. So if Bitcoin were to break 6150, which I believe is the big bad support to be holding, if Bitcoin breaks 6150, in my opinion, it is very likely to make new lows for the years. But you will likely bounce along the way as well. And this next big bounce area, perhaps even a tradable bounce, would be right around here, right around 5,800-ish area. Below that, I believe you have this guy right here, right around about 5,500-ish area. And below that, that's where things get a little bit more hairy because we don't have as much information. We got this guy right around here, right around about 4,600, all the way down to about, low 4,000s, which should line up with, theoretically should line up with other things. Let's see what we can find. Again, I'm going to take off my fib, my crown trading fib down there. I'm going to throw on the good old volley profile, the VP of fucking never mind. I won't finish that sentence. But hey, look at that. Oh, it's just fucking beautiful, man. Look at how it lines up with the supports and resistances, and look at how there's nothing doing this range right here. I agree. I don't see anything in that range as well. Obviously, because the volume profile is derived from the chart, so you should be able to have confluence between these two, and it's a big problem if you do not. But I do look at this and I say, hey. And I say, hey, crown, because I talk to myself in the first person, which is really weird. Maybe I should go see a therapist or some shit. But hey, as soon as you kind of lose this higher volume node over here, this next big area that we're looking at is right around about 40. Mid to high 4,000s to low 4,000s over here. Well, what else do we have showing that? Well, if we go over here and put it on the weekly and take this guy off and put this guy on over here. Oh, well, look at that. We have the 200 exponential, this purple line right here, starting to crawl its way up into this blue box territory over here. Also, 786 Fibonacci retracement is coming around that area as well. And also this dotted trend line over here, this dotted trend line that you see, the red arrow pointing to, that is the 10-year logarithmic trend line of Bitcoin that has never been broken in Bitcoin's almost 10-year history. And anytime that it hits it, it never goes lower, essentially, or hasn't in Bitcoin's history. And if Bitcoin were to approach it pretty much right here, right now, the bottom of that trend line would be around that 4,800 number, the top of the top of our higher volume node, right around here. Right around here, which I actually need to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So overall, just because I have this dotted trend line here does not mean it's going to hold. A lot of people have been asking me this. Crown, where are we in relation to the log trend line? Well, it's we're about about $1,500 away. But at the same point in time, listen, just because it's held in the past does not mean it'll hold in the future. Now, you've been in this trend line for the last almost 10 years. You can certainly stay in it for a lot longer, no doubt about that. But at the same point in time, trend lines were made to be broken. It's just an idea. It tells you when you're wrong, more importantly. I want to know when I'm wrong because then I can change my behavior. But for right here, right now, it's been working for 10 years. So I'll go off that assumption until it doesn't work. And how will we know that it doesn't work? Well, you get a full-on weekly diddle close below this area. And then, hey, it It doesn't fucking work, so stop using it. So yeah, and as you can see, there are some lower targets over here, but like I said, I'm gonna avoid doing more long-term analysis. So we have multiple things kind of pointing in this area. We have this 10-year logarithmic trend line. We have this horizontal level coming in right here. We have the 786 Fibonacci retracement. We have the 200 exponential moving average. We have the volume profile pointing around there, and we also have the monthly 30 simple moving average kind of in that vicinity as well. So a lot of things to be aware of right there. So let's go back on over here to good old GDAX, Coinbase, and we're going to talk about some other interesting things. I want to bring up this right over here. This is Bitfinex's cold wallet for Bitcoin, right? And we see something very interesting over here. Bitfinex has been absolutely just demolishing their supply of Bitcoin recently. They were the number one wallet about a couple weeks ago. It looks like about a couple weeks ago, right over here. The literally number one richest wallet in all of Bitcoin land, because we actually do have information for that. And as of recent time, and basically like the last 2-3 weeks, they have gone from the number one holding about 225,000 Bitcoins all the way down to under 140,000 Bitcoins. Quite literally almost dropping 100,000 Bitcoins within the span of 2 to 3 weeks. Something weird is going on here. You know that saying, wherever there's smoke, there's fire, or whatever the fuck? Well, Bitfinex is also like disabled withdrawals or something like that, I've heard as well. No, I don't really know too much of the specifics of it. I do not trade there, but I do want to point this out as something weird is going on. You see this red line over here. That is actually plotting the balance in US dollars. And you'll notice it looks oddly similar to something that we've been looking at for the last 10 months. And basically that is Bitcoin's chart. But over here where we kind of put in the broadening wedge that we just broke down from on Bitcoin itself, Finex broke down from it much sooner, about a week ago, and has been accelerating to the downside ever since, basically heading for this kind of area right here, the 5,500 support that we just outlined over here. So again, something very interesting is going on over here. Why are they getting rid of their Bitcoin? Or I mean, why are they getting rid of their Bitcoin? People are withdrawing their Bitcoin is really what's happening, and then maybe maybe Bitfinex is getting rid of some of theirs as well. But I just wanted to point that out. Something interesting is going on around there. Let's go check out GBTC, another leading indicator for Bitcoin, closing on its lows, gap down, open, and then closed on its lows. With the overall stock market actually closing on its lows as well, not its lows, but down as well. So this is very concerning as well. GBTC is a leading indicator for Bitcoin, and now we have a full break of this support right here that GBTC was trying to base on before. We talked about how this was unlikely to be a good consolidation, or at least a bullishly resolved consolidation, because it was very low volume and it got rejected on this spinning top dildo right here from the 21 exponential moving average. We said, hey, as long as it's below $8, it's hard to get excited about. And that was pretty fun. Be careful. Be careful. This is why confirmation is such a damn powerful idea. And basically close on your lows is very, 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 very bad when it comes to stocks. Yes, we do have Friday coming up. A lot of the time things will rally, into the close on Friday, just because people get really, really scared. So the powers that be do not like to close Friday markets on a down note. But if they do close them on a down note, that is a very, very specific tell. So over here we can see that it actually made new lows on close, perhaps, or got about a cent shy of it. So again, man, this does not look good. It does not look good. High volume breakdown right here. That's exactly what I need to see. It was a broadening wedge, basically what we broke down from on Bitcoin itself. Overall, I really don't see much holding this thing up from this area right over here, right around what is this? About $6, about a little under $6, or sorry, about $6 even, which would be about $5,000, or yeah, about $5,000 in change on Bitcoin. Give or take about a couple $100. So it would line up with that 4,800-ish area that we just spoke about. So again, be aware of these things. Okay, all right. Let's go check out Google Trends as well. I do want to check this out. Okay, so Bitcoin. I want to check out the Google trend for Bitcoin over here, as I do actually put some weight on this. I actually do put some weight on this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out of the United States because it's a worldwide market. We're gonna go to a higher time frame. The past 5 years, and here's what I want to show over here. Okay, so on Google Trends, when Bitcoin bottomed in 2014 in this area over here, and really most of like 2015 to 2016, it was basically at an interest of about 2 to 4. Right here, right now, we are at an interest of 8, and we just downticked actually last week. So just kind of a random thing to be aware of. I would be thinking that Bitcoin, kind of wants to come test the 7 level or perhaps even the 4 level. But I think that Bitcoin will probably come down around that range. When Bitcoin comes down around that range, that'll be like the actual accumulation for Bitcoin, something like that. So yeah, always be aware of something like that. Let's go check out the MVT signal. How's he doing over here? Still hanging very, very high. Remember, if you're not familiar with the signal, it is the network value divided by the 90-day moving average of the daily transaction value, which calls tops really fucking well. And I keep on repeating that, but it's true. When you call a top right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here, that well, and then and you over years and years and years, well, I want to pay attention to that. So when it comes down to it, anytime that it does get over this critical level where my cursor currently is, typically aligns with a dump down into this level where my cursor currently is. And I'm sorry about these stuttering. I must sound like a complete idiot. But over here you can notice that yes, Bitcoin has basically gotten to one of the all-time highs that's ever been on the MVT signal over here, but it has not dumped back down and kind of gone back to the resetting period right over here in the 50 zone. So again, another thing to be aware of. This is why I'm very, 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 very hesitant. I just do not understand why people are so fucking bullish around here. Yes, 6,000 is held. Yes, 6,000 is held multiple times, but each and every time the bounce gets weaker, it is the perfect psychology of the major descending triangle where the sellers get more aggressive as the buyers lose their power. I do not understand what people see in these charts that makes them very bullish right here. All I could see is probably another bounce, and then we'll figure it out from there. But hey, I can always be wrong. And here's the thing. How do you know that Crown's gonna be wrong? How do you know that Crown is wrong? Crown's an idiot, and Crown should actually kill himself because he's so stupid. Well, if Bitcoin were to get back above the 200 exponential moving average and make a high above this guy right here at about 7,400, I would really start to reconsider my ideas, but I wouldn't be fully convinced until 10,000. So I know that that's very far away, but hey, when you're talking about an asset that travels, thousands of dollars, to upside, downside within a year, I mean, really $10,000 within a year or more, well, that is actually a drop in the bucket as far as I'm concerned. So again, I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but hey, that's the way that I trade. I like waiting for actual confirmation of an uptrend, which you could do by at the very least getting a high above this guy right here above 7,400. So that would be a start. That would make me reconsider. But for right here, right now, pressure is on. I want to do the daily rounds of the accumulation distribution indicator, see how we're doing on that guy. As that one is quite interesting. Okay, cool. So we got this guy over here, still slope to the downside. Again, I only care about slope on this indicator. Yes, green and red kind of does matter, but I am more concerned with slope, and it is slope to the downside. Let's go check out the 2-day. 2-day slope down. What about the 3-day? 3-day has flatlined, but still kind of sloped up. But flatlined. Weekly is sloped up. So this is very interesting actually. If the weekly is sloped up, sorry, let's go to exchange with a little bit more history. Yeah, Bitstamp. Okay, so it is still sloped up, but yeah, okay, it is sloped up. Yeah, fair enough. So that is a good counterpoint. To what we've been seeing, but we don't have necessarily a new tick on that. And with the daily kind of ticking down, I would likely think that the next tick on the weekly is gonna point you down. And more importantly, on the monthly is in the red now. The first time ever since 2014. Now I said that I don't really care what color it is, but I do care about the slope. And this is really the second time you've ever been sloped this aggressively to the downside. So again, multiple things kind of coming through on that one as well. So yeah, let's go back on over here. I do want to talk about Mr. Buterol really quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. So we got Mr. Buterol over here on the daily, breaking that 195 area that we spoke about. Coming into the day. Again, major volume come onto this over here, and I just can't get over all of the arrogant people. I'm sorry, this is my problem, but I can't get over all the arrogant people who are like, it's symmetrical triangle, we just broke out to the upside. No, fuck no. No. You need breakout volume if you're going to be breaking a pattern that everyone's got their eyes on, okay? If you saw that pattern, well, sorry. It's probably not going to work. Sorry. That's just mean. I'm being an asshole. I apologize about that. I do not want to represent myself like that. But again, here's the thing. More likely a bear flag over here in the way that I kind of represent it. Which would actually have an implied move all the way down to... let's see, where would that point us towards? Yeah, right around here, right around about 120, $1.20, somewhere right around there. But here's the thing, you know, while Mr. Beaterall did smash through the 195 support on the daily, and yes, it did confirm below on the daily with heavy volume kind of breaking this formation over here on the daily. Yes, I do like all those things. I need to see it on the weekly because I did make this major support is such a major support to me that it needs to be absolutely destroyed on the weekly in order for me to be a believer. Now, here's the thing. With just by the mere fact of coming this low again, it does not look good. Do not get me wrong, it does not look good, and it's very likely to see more continuations downwards. But I'd say if you want to go, you know, buy the book officially, I'd say, you know, I'd wait for the weekly to officially crack 195 and close below 195. That would be the slap in the face signal to get fucking short. And this thing is going to likely make some major new lows, well, you know, into the low 100s area. Again, this doesn't look good. Don't get me wrong. You know, it doesn't look good. But you will also have support right around here, right around your former low. It would not look good even by the nature of coming back down to about 183 is where it is. By the same token, you do have resistance right around here. You do have resistance right around here, and that's where I'd kind of be looking for. If this rally does get a little bit extended over here, that's where I'd kind of be looking at. And you will obviously have some right where we're currently at right now. So maybe it does get stopped right here. You know, you never know what can happen on a Friday now, don't you? But again, you know, at the end of the day, you are seeing the initial etchings of a major dump dildo right here, and volume increasing to the downside. I do not like this, and I do not understand the people saying, it's just another low volume dump. It's like, okay, what the fuck did I just hear? It's like that scene from Tropic Thunder. Lance, what the fuck did I just hear? One of the most underrated movies of all time. It's no, you're seeing a new pattern form over here. You just saw this pattern break to the downside. It's like, all right, we got some new going on here. It's not just another low volume dump. I don't understand that terminology, to be honest with you. And this is high volume relative speaking to what we did over here. And look at this over here. You know, this was a major dump dildo over here on extremely high volume, actually even higher than the hammer dildo that you put in on your low right here. That was the first big warning signal that this could fall over, and I believe that we might be seeing that happen right here, right now. Okay, so back on over to GDAX over here. We're going to wrap this one up. Let's go back to the lower time frames. Okay, just wrapping up the lower time frames over here. Okay, bullish divergence on the lower time frames, 2 to 4 hour. Yes, your 4 hour stochastics are hitting out across to the upside. Your 3 hour stochastics actually have crossed the upside, but it's not like a full on confirmation to me just yet. If you were to kind of take a leg up, the next area that I'd be looking towards, your 2 hour 21 right around 6250ish area, but really I'd be looking actually right around 6350 to 6400ish area. If things get a little bit crazy, there will be a lot of resistance on the way up just because you have a lot of snaky price action from before, which does a good job of building resistance in that range right there. But just going off of the exponentials and simple moving average right here, yeah, it does seem, somewhere in that 6300 range would kind of be the where I'd look to be a seller if things did get a little bit crazy over here. Again, just because we are getting bullish divergence doesn't mean it's it's like a full on reversal. It could be, but again, the way to know that Crown is an idiot, Crown is wrong, Crown should actually kill himself is if Bitcoin goes back above 7,400. That would be the first area where I start saying, hey, I really need to reconsider my overall bearishness. However, I would not fully let go of that idea until 10,000 is let go of. So again, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you on this lovely Friday morning. Hope everyone has the best Friday possible. And I'll be back on probably later tonight. If we have some new price action, I'll be happy to go live. And if not, I'll be in the Discord. So definitely check out the Discord. Definitely check out all of the cool programs, and I'll be around here. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon.